Hey guys, it's Vince and Drew with Power 5 Fanatics coming at you again, heading into week 5.
Yep.
And looking back real quick before we get to the games this weekend, we're going to give you our 4 takeaways from last week. We do this every week, and I'll start with the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has been overall better conference this year, without a doubt, than they've been in definitely last year and probably the last 2 or 3 years. In the middle, they're just very strong.
They got some good teams, I think.
They got some good teams, and they're not, in my opinion, they're not the worst conference at all now. And I mean, if you look at that, if you look at them right now, there's so many really good to great teams. I'm talking about Washington. Utah, Washington State, Oregon,
USC
of course,
potentially.
USC potentially, and then even some dark horses like Colorado,
Arizona State,
and even
Washington
Arizona.
State.
I'm not quite sure. Arizona. Who knows what they're going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, they won last time they played, but it's up in the air. And I really don't think you're going to have a. I say the conference is better, but I don't think you're going to have a representative in the playoff because they're just going to beat each other up too much. And my opinion, whoever ends up winning it, I think they will have 2 losses.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's the biggest issue with the Pac-12 is they've got a lot in the middle, but they don't have anything at the very top, in my opinion. And as of right now, I have no idea what's going to happen in that conference. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's so up in the air.
But week to week, it's like, especially what we saw last week, Washington State was one of the remaining undefeated teams. Now it's just Cal out there, who, by the way, we forgot they're a great team.
Yeah, let's don't forget Cal. So nobody knows on that one.
Yeah.
It's just so.
So
but
who's
again,
gonna win,
they're going to be beating each other up. There's 2 really good games this weekend, and I think it's going to be representative here in the next couple months that whoever ends up winning it, they may be 2 losses. Definitely, I think that's without a doubt. There's going to be a 2-loss Pac-12 winner. So I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs. But overall, it's a better conference. So I got to give those teams credit.
Right.
Our second takeaway.
Yeah. So our second takeaway is kind of the perception of Group of 5 right now. At least the way I see it. I don't know what y'all's opinion on this is, but I feel like the Group of 5 was kind of rooting for UCF this past weekend. Having just come off a big win against Stanford. I feel like the Group of 5 needed to win that second game against a Power 5 team, Pitt. And because a lot of the naysayers, doubters were asking, okay, what would happen if, UCF's great, the Group of 5 team's great, but what would happen if they had to play against multiple Power 5 teams and had to prepare for that type of competition? And sadly, I think we finally kind of saw that. We saw UCF able to prepare for that Stanford game and then have to quickly get back ready for Pitt, who has very superior athletes in general.
Yeah.
And I think now that's going to kind of change the perception of maybe even the College Football Playoff Committee. If we have another team kind of like UCF go on a run like that, are they going to truly buy into the thought that can they compete in the playoffs? I don't know. I think we might have had that question answered this weekend, sadly.
And the way it's looking this year, you still got Boise State's undefeated.
Right.
They got a freshman quarterback. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get through the whole deal undefeated. SMU's another school, but I just don't think they can make enough. I don't think they can maneuver enough in the next 2.5 months to make a difference, even if they go undefeated at this point. So it's the Group of 5. It is what it is. If you're in a position where UCF was, you just got to take advantage of it. And if you lose, it's the way it is. You lose one time, you're done.
It's rough, and the rest of them have kind of. I think the rest of them will be.
It's going to be one of those deals where it's never going to be. You're never really going to have the answer to any of this till you go to a 6 to 8 team playoff. Right. And then you're going to start. There will be some Group of 5 teams in there because it's just the way it's going to work out. But right now, it's not looking like that. Third takeaway: Michigan. I know people have been having a good time beating up on Michigan this week.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. They just look so terrible. They look slow, unathletic, and Jim Harbaugh is just killed in the media. I mean, I'm like, I don't, nobody's like, I mean, they're just like, think of the season.
Most people have jumped ship.
Yeah, jump ship, and they really, everybody's saying the season's over. I don't know if it's quite over yet. This is also something where you get a program where they just get ridiculed, basically. I mean, they look terrible, on the field, and then they hear this over and over, and it might give them a little bit of a chip on their shoulder where they might actually make somewhat of a run. The other thing is, in the Big Ten, 3 weeks ago, I thought the Big Ten was probably better than it is now. Mm-hmm. So I think that also plays into Michigan's favor a little bit.
Right.
I mean, you still got Ohio State, you still got Penn State, and in Michigan State's, that's going to be a tough game for them again too. But you never know. I wouldn't totally write off Michigan yet, and it's not looking good. But you never know. They got a lot of athletes, and they got a lot of great players. I just don't know why they hadn't been able to put it together. But
yeah, we'll see how they bounce back here in the next few weeks. They get an opportunity this week against Rutgers.
Yeah,
that's a line on that game.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one to get back in the winning.
Maybe
column,
they can get that offense rolling.
If they lose there, I don't think that's going to happen. Though.
Yeah, and maybe they can get that offense rolling here. Maybe Shea Patterson and Josh Gaddis can get on the same page, and some of these wide receivers and everything can kind of get it rolling.
Right.
And maybe they can have a good second half. I mean, their goals are still in front of them. They lost to a West team, not an East team. They can still win their division.
But things are going to have to change quickly.
Yeah. And the last thing we got here is I was kind of looking back at, some of the first-year head coaches, and I kind of like to do this in the offseason. This is one of the things I look forward to is how are these first-year head coaches how are they going to do? Mm-hmm. And I think so far, and this can obviously change as we get into conference play and some different things, but I think so far I've been more impressed with this batch of head coaches for 2019 than I was with 2018. And what I mean by first-year head coaches is obviously the first-year head coaches who've never coached at a Power 5 program, and also the returning head coaches from, before, like Mack Brown and Les Miles. And when you kind of look across the landscape of, the 2019 head coaches, you got Mel Tucker with Colorado.
There's a lot of them in the Big 12.
Big 12's got a lot of them.
They got 4 of them.
You got Mack Brown, Les Miles, like I already said. You also have Ryan Day with Ohio State. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
He's been impressive.
Scott Satterfield with Louisville has been better than I think a lot of people have thought. Chris Kleiman with Kansas State.
I agree. They're doing better than the ones from last year.
And Mike Loxley with Maryland. I know they had a slip up against Temple, but their offense is coming
their
on
offense
fire.
Overall, their offense has been really good this year.
And last year, you had coaches and we'll see kind of how this progresses because they're still young in their careers as well. But Scott Frost, Chip Kelly, Willie Taggart's not looking so good.
Yeah, some of those guys are the ones that at this
might
point
be on the hot seat at this
Arkansas
point.
Arkansas's coach.
Yeah, Chad Morris, Jeremy Pruitt with Tennessee. But there were also some good ones. Jimbo Fisher has been really good at A&M. We'll see how that continues to progress. Dan Mullen with Florida.
I think the jury's still out with Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, especially after the Auburn loss. So that's what I'm trying to say.
They're paying him
$75 million.
Yeah, over 10. I don't know how many years it is. 10 years.
Yeah.
So $7.5 million a year. They're going to expect better than 7 and 5.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of my point. Is I just think in general this year the new batch of head coaches has been a little bit better.
I think so.
And we'll kind of continue to monitor that as we get into conference play, and it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. But so far, I've been very impressed with those guys. So.
Well, guys, I'm sure y'all have your own takeaways. Put them in the comments below. Again, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell. We're going to keep these videos going throughout the football season. Enjoy every minute of it.
Every minute of it. Every weekend is exciting.
We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.